If you've been watching some of my videos lately, you might have spotted this in the background. And yes, it's a home EV charger, and we installed that because we've got a solar system, we've got a backup battery, and there was one feature that I really wanted to take advantage of, and unfortunately, it doesn't work. When we first picked up the G6, we had a little tyre repair kit, we had a slow charger, and the slow charger is great. You can take it anywhere, you plug it into any power point, chuck it into your car, and it'll charge. So it's very easy to use. However, it's very, very slow. It would be generous to say that it could put around 2 kilowatts into the battery per hour. Now, if you've got a 66 kilowatt battery, it's well over 30 hours to charge the car, which is not very convenient. So I found myself going down to the fast charger just down the road, 150 kilowatts. An hour later, I'd be back, easy, $30 to $40, and it was done. But of course, after doing that multiple times, it became time to get a home charger. Now, I looked at a number of different ones. We ended up with this particular one that would do what I wanted it to do, where it could use excess solar energy that was going back to the grid to charge the car. We've got a solar system here. It's 13.5 kilowatts. We also have a Tesla Powerwall, which will hold 10 kilowatts. And we have the Tesla app. So look, it's really handy. We can open up the app at any time, see how much solar is being generated, see how much energy the house is using, whether or not the vehicle is plugged in and charging or not. And we can see how much solar power might be going back to the grid. Now that excess that's going back to the grid, I wanted to put into the car. Now we work here at home, we're here all day, the car's sitting here all day and every night, so it would be no issue to just leave it plugged in and let that ecosystem automatically put excess solar into the car. But unfortunately, there was an issue with that particular objective. So the Tesla Gen 3 charger and the G6 will work beautifully. I plug it in, I get 11 kilowatts. We've got a 3-phase system here at home, and it just charges. I mean, it does a great job. 5 or 6 hours later, after bringing the battery down to around 10 or 15%, it's charged, it's full. So it's really handy, but it won't identify that smart feature that Tesla vehicles will pick up from the app, and that is the solar mode. And you can put it into solar mode and it'll do exactly what I wanted it to do. Now that doesn't work with the G6. I'm not sure about other non-Tesla vehicles, but when I look at the Tesla app, solar mode is not an option. It doesn't come up. Okay, so let's find a workaround. So I found Charge HQ, which looks like a really clever app. I thought that'll do the trick. We'll just use the Charge HQ app. Now before you set things up, you go through a compatibility questionnaire or survey, and it asks for the type of charger, the vehicle, your inverter, and all sorts of data points to figure out whether that system will be able to integrate with the Charge HQ app. And unfortunately, the Gen 3 Tesla charger and the XPENG G6 are not compatible enough to be able to, now I don't know if that's the right description, but it won't integrate with the Charge HQ app, which is a real bummer. It means that at the moment, I can't find a solution where excess solar energy going back to the grid could be diverted into the car. Now, we work from home, so the car's sitting there pretty much all day, most days, and it's obviously there all night. It would be pretty easy for me to monitor the app. If there's any excess energy going to the grid, I can just pop out the back door, plug the car in, and put that solar energy into the vehicle instead of sending it to the grid. But this is where I might need your help if you're a few steps ahead of me in the journey. I can plug the car or the charger into the car, but it will want to charge at 11 kilowatts per hour, given we have a 3-phase system. If there's only 6 kilowatts going off to the grid, sure, that 6 kilowatts can go into the car, great, but where is the other 5 going to come from? And of course, it will be drawn from the grid. So that sort of defeats the purpose, I guess, unless there's a way where I could go into the G6 central display there and somehow throttle the charging rate so that it only charges at, say, 4 or 5 kilowatts. That would mean, if I could do that, that would still mean I'd have to monitor the app constantly. Then it's defeating the purpose again, which is why the solar mode and the HQ app is so good, because you can just press and forget. So I'm a little bit frustrated. That was the exact feature that I wanted and I can't get it to work. So if you've got any ideas, I'm all ears. I read all the comments personally and answer them all personally. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're interested, I thought I'd give you a quick look at our setup. Now, when we drive up the driveway in the Kia Carnival that we have, we drive up and we reverse in next to the charger. For convenience, we have a wheelchair access vehicle and we need to be in that position to make life a little bit easier. That means that we can just drive the G6 up the driveway and nose forward into the other parking position. Now, one of the good things about the Gen 3 Tesla charger is that it comes standard with a 7.3 meter cable. Now, I'm no engineer, but I've come up with an ingenious system to be able to run the cable up the wall across the beam and use my little gadget to simply unhook it, plug it into the car, and away we go. Now, that means that we can keep the vehicles in the positions that is most convenient for us and not have to swap them around, which of course we could if we really needed to. But it's a great little system where it doesn't interfere with our normal parking habits. So from that point of view, having the extra cable is great. And in terms of cost, the Gen 3 was about half the price of some of the others that I was looking at. Now, in total, to install it with our electrician who put our solar system in for us, it was $2,075. Now, I think that's pretty good value, particularly given that they also had to put in an extra little board or plug or something. I have no idea what it means, but that extra was required as well to make it all work. And in the end, we've now got a really good system where we can just plug it in and charge it overnight. The plan that we're on with our electricity company means that we can charge at 8 cents per kilowatt between between midnight and 6 a.m., which is more than enough time to fully charge it for the morning if we have plans to head off somewhere first thing in the morning. So on the whole, I'm really happy with the system. It's very convenient now. The speed of charging is now certainly acceptable and convenient. I just need some help with that last little smart solar feature. So I'm all ears if you've got any comments. So thanks again for watching, guys. If you have subscribed to the channel, thank you very much. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video.